Hello, BookTube. This is Alan. I tried to upload a video a while ago, but the legs on my tripod collapsed. So it's like, oh, let's try this again. I'm here for the Friday reads and the March TBR. But first, I have a couple things I want to show you. I bought at the thrift store earlier today. This is a music box. This is Richard Wagner music box, and it plays the Wedding March from Lohengrin. This one is Beethoven and another music box. Not sure. Can I tell what it plays here? It's not there. Very good ones. I'll just set these back up here out of the way. And also, I picked up a book. I picked up Snow Falling on Cedars by David Gunterson. Book came out in 1994, published by Harcourt and Brace. Now, what I'm reading is I'm reading in the mornings, I'm reading a chapter from Robert Alter's book as his translation with commentary. This is his wisdom books. I have Genesis and Psalms by him. This is contains three of the wisdom books: Job, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes. And he goes through the Hebrew in each chapter. Each chapter will have the glares in the way. The verse up here, and he has the commentary of the scripture right here. And I was reading this the other day, and there's something interesting that I'd never seen before that a translator would do, and I see if I can find it real quick here. Yeah, I'm on chapter 3 here. Finish chapter 3. What I usually do is that I usually read through the verse first, read it from beginning to end, and then I go back and read the commentary on the verse, because I used to just read the scripture and then go down and read the commentary. I said, well, this is not working right. I can't get anything else. So I just read read it first. Let me see. Take my bookmark out. See if I can find it. It was because it's very interesting that I hadn't heard before, or had seen that a biblical translator used it in a text. And excuse me. And because it's very interesting, he had used a poem. He alluded to a poem by Percy Shelley. And excuse me just a minute. I'll get my notes here. And Percy Shelley poem. Tell how organized I am. And it's Ozymandias is the name of the poem, spelled Ozymandis, and he uses that in correlation with Job. And if I can find it, I will tell it to you and show it to you. But right now, it's like I don't know where it went to. Sorry for the delay. This is kind of frustrating, because he's talking about Job is talking in chapter 3 about how he is know the day that I was born, and the night that said a man is conceived. In that day let it be darkness, let God above night seeketh out, nor brightness shine upon it. And day and night, as the Robert Alter says, is formulatic word poetry pair and biblical poetic parallelism. And the phrase that the night that said might also be constructed as third person singular with an unsuspected subject standing in for the passive. The night when it was said. From this point on, the poet proceeds to work over the first the day, then the night, summon the language to expound each in turn. And he's talking about how it's right after everything is gone from him, and he has boils that he's trying to scrape off. And oh, here it is, yeah, verse 14. It said, with kings and councils of earth who built ruins for themselves. And Robert Alter uses the phrase built ruins for themselves in this brilliant compact formulation of the fertility of all human endeavor. Kings built great edifices for themselves. They are destined to turn to ruin. One thinks of Shelley's Ozymandias. I hope I got that translation right of that poem by Percy Shelley. Anyway, I'm also reading Gai-Jin. This is for my March Mammoth by James Clavell. Gai-Jin is the third book in the Asian Saga series. You don't have to read the series in order, because he alludes to, Noble House, which is the fifth book in the series. I'm spying here. King Rat is the fourth book. Gai-Jin is the third book. So you don't have to read Shogun in Taipan to catch up with the characters, because you have, in the book, you have, there's a listing of the characters in the back of this book, Mammoth book. And one of them is Lord Toranaga Yoshi, who's the descendant of Shogun Toranaga, who was in the first book, Shogun. He's a member of the Council of Elders, guardian heir, the boy Shogun. And the boy Shogun Nubusada, is only 16. He's the 14th Toranaga Shogun. So the first Shogun was in the first book, Shogun, and it was 1600. So you don't have to read the other books. James Clavell found this, and I've actually found something about this incident, because it starts off with a Gai-Jin means foreigner. I probably had said that before, but I'm not sure. And in Japanese. And what occurred was one of the foreigners, the British, did not get off his horse and bow to the daimyo, which is the elders, or the ruling class in Japan, the daimyo. And because he did not do that, he lost face and was executed, was killed. Well, and so the English are trying to come to terms with, okay, send these people to us, the ones who did this, so we can try them and hang them. Well, just hang them anyway. And and the Japanese, the other class, won't do it, because there is a contention going on between two ruling factions who are trying to overthrow the shogun of the noble house. And so you have the incident, the real incident is called the Namaguchi Gucci, is Namamugi incident, which took place in 1862. And so a good writer will pick up on that and expand it and add other things to it, to the story. So you have a lot of things going on in the book. So you have the British who are trying to find out who murdered this gentleman, whether they want to go to war or not. You have another faction of samurai who are trying to they're trying to kill the foreigners because they want to get the foreigners to go to the oh, what is it? I'm sorry. The Lord Toranaga, the Senate of Yushi, and he's the Council of Elders. So he's trying. There's this other group of samurai is trying to get the foreigners to invade or kill this ruling class, a shogun, so they can actually take over, and then it was in the end they'll expel the Gai-Jin. So you have a this lady who is French, Angelica Richard. Is a beloved of Malcolm Strawn, another character in here, the daughter of Guy Richard, who's a French China trader and war the French minister. And so you have that love story going on. You have a couple of other things going on. You have British minister to Japan, Sir William Alsby, Dr. George Babbitt, and the Malcolm Strawn had got injured in the attack that the Japanese, and so he's injured. And there's a lot of things going on. And the way James Clavell weaves these incidents together. There's a couple of things that I've read. I'm on page 268. And it's 1,234 pages. There's a couple of things going on that I read. It was very interesting that James Clavell puts in. One of the, and I had dog-eared this because I wanted to go back and show it, because the English won't trade, and that's all they want. They won't trade, and they also are bringing them opium. And which leads to the Boxer Rebellion later on in history. And there's one part in which the admiral, I can't find this one. Yeah, there's one part in which the admiral is talking, and he's on the British warship. He's talking to one of his commanders, and he's discussing about the Civil War in the United States and how they don't care for Abraham Lincoln, and how they don't. Oh, here it is, right here. It said, "Nothing but bad, I'm afraid. The American Civil War is picking up steam, seesawing with tens of thousands of deaths. Battles at Shiloh, Fair Oaks, dozens of places. Another at Bull Run with the Union Army, the loser and decimated. War's changed forever. Now with breech-loading rifles and machine guns and rifle cannon, prices of cotton's gone sky high with the Union blockade of the South. Another panic on the London Stock Exchange in Paris. Rumors that Prussia will invade France immediately. Since the Prince Consort died in December, Queen Victoria still hasn't appeared in public. It's rumored she's been pining to death. Mexico, we pulled out our forces out now. It's apparent Nutter Napoleon III is determined to make it a French domain. Famine and riots all over Europe. Can I get And the person says, "Can I get you anything?" He says, "Oh, new stomach." And yeah, after hearing all that bad news, the answer is yeah, a new stomach. So he adds the timeline in history. He adds other history to the story, and he also adds a couple of books. Malcolm, the gentleman I mentioned, who was injured and is laying in bed, got some mail, and a lot of books from Hatchards and Piccadilly. A new illustrated edition of Darwin's Explosive on the Origin of Species, some Tennyson poems, a new translated pamphlet by Karl Marx, Frederick Engels called the Communist Manifesto, 5 copies of Punch, and most important of all, another edition of All the Year Round that was weekly started by Charles Dickens and contained the 14th installment of Great Expectations to be published in 20 parts. For the moment he was misused, lost in admiration of the man and his marvelous range of stories, from Oliver Twist more than 20 years ago through Nicholas Nickleby, David Copperfield, and a dozen others, to the riveting Tale of Two Cities. Dickens is the greatest writer in the world, no doubt about it. Later on in the story, he was reading he's reading another book about this detective story, one of the greatest persons ever to write a detective story, Edgar Allan Poe, and the murders of the Rue Morgue. So this is very entertaining, very good book. Also, Sarah was steeped in books, is co-hosting March Mystery Madness. This is the 5th year of the March Mystery Madness, and I decided to go ahead and take the plunge and jump right into March Mystery Madness. And mystery books are not my thing, but I decided to do it this time. And I got a couple of here I want to show you that I've gotten. The first one is Anne Perry, Death of a Stranger. This is a mass market paperback. This says a William Monk novel. This is from Ballantine Books of New York. Came out in 2002. I don't know anything about these authors, so excuse me. This one is by Donna Leon. This is Stuff for the Little Children. This is a Commissario Guido Brunetti mystery. This came out in Atlantic Monthly Press, and it was first published in 2007. This next one I was going to save for my half-price book calendar challenge that I'm doing. It was the decade of the 1930s. Excuse me. Next month I'll be reading A Room of One's Own, Virginia Woolf. This first came out in the 1920s. And I believe, let me check. It doesn't say. This is this edition is published in 2012 by Arcturus Publishing up in England. And that's Arcturus Publishing. And this is what I'm going to read for the decade of 1920s. First came out. So back to this one that I was going to read for the decade of the 1930s when it was first printed. But now I had to find another book from that list, or pick another one, something the list. And I could not remember the name of this book, so I had to ask somebody at Half Price Bookstore about, I knew the title, but I didn't know the author. So this is Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. This is a trade paperback from Berkeley. Yeah, it's Berkeley Books of New York. This is his second Berkeley edition, 2004. So yeah, this book first published in 1934. So I haven't never read this. I saw the movie back in the 70s, I believe it was, nominated for several Academy Awards, but I've never read any of those. And I was going to read a Elizabeth George book, but it's over 800 pages and decided not to. I'm not going to partake in any of the prompts that are with March Mystery Madness. I decided just to read the 5 books, and watch Sarah's video about March Mystery Madness, and she said if you just read 5 books, that's fine. You don't have to do the bingo or the prompts. So I got this one last year from one of the thrift stores. This is the Barnes & Noble books. It's Murder British style, and it has a series of short stories in it from about 20 different authors. She has Sir Arthur Conan Doyle has two stories in here. Agatha Christie has a story for Suspects. Dorothy Cannell has a story called Rats. Margaret York, Fair and Square. Michael Gilbert, The Uninvited. Joan Aiken, The Black Cliffs. Julian Simmons, The Dream is Better. Peter Levesley, Behind the Locked Door. G.K. Chesterton, The Invisible Man. Ronald Dahl, The Lamb to the Slaughter. Madame Sarah, L.T. Mead, and Robert Eustace. Arthur Morrison, The Case of Mr. Foggett. Arthur Morrison again, The Case of the Late Mr. Ruse. In the Fog by Richard Harding Davis. Big Boy, Little Boy by Simon Brett. And The Three Coffins by John Dixon Carr. The 2 by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle are The Story of the Lost Special and The 4 Suspects. So this would be, I hope this counts as a March Mystery Madness. This is what I'll probably read several stories from this month. So that was it. That's it for my Friday reads, my March TBR. And thank you very much. Go to like and subscribe if you wish.